What's going on, guys? My name is Matt Omega and welcome back to Submachine Legacy, where today we'll be tackling what I have long considered my favorite chapter of the Submachine series. That is number 7, The Core. And for a lot of good reasons, that. But we come out here to this place, to the sanctuary out here, and I think a large part of why I took to this game so much, like, right from the get-go is because it's because of Submachine universe, really. Yeah, we're still tubing a keystone, because at the time, it was around the time of Submachine 6 releasing. It was you got like a first major release or a big update or something back when universe was still known as the Submachine Network Exploration Experience. Triangle goes there. Note to self: possible entry points failed. Check on 291. Good feeling about this one. This was actually one of the notes you can find in universe, and at the time, this sanctuary here was basically something of an early ending point for that entire game. And you know, coming straight from that to this, seeing how it all interconnects, was actually a really cool thing to experience back in the day. Right, we use this card to take down this barrier here and steal this light bulb. And give this one a little poke. Because I don't care about any of this stuff. It's ruining the sanctuary. God damn it. It used to be like there's a whole ass wall here. Right? And there was like this note here from Liz, like, congratulating us for getting there. And just like, you know, whether we got there by dumb luck or, you know, we actually solved the puzzles. Yep, now it's all just, all this. Granted, in universe, when we get to the sanctuary now, a lot of this stuff is gone, but there is like a laser wall put up here as like a barrier, but yeah, anyway. The mind is everything. What you think, you become. Alright, I'm thinking that I will be a quadrillionaire. Yep, no, didn't think so. These are just straight up machine guns. That's exactly what they are. Another keystone in there. And, do I even need to bring it up? The plants. Anyone who's heard my incessant ramblings from the first time I went through all this, they know that I really love the fluorescent plant life in this game. It just looks so good. Behind that plant we get our first microstabilizer. So the microstabilizers here, they're basically all in the exact same positions as the tokens were in the original game. Be the witness of your thoughts. I'm the witness for a lot more than that, I'm afraid. Don't ask me what that means. But, yeah, just the entire feel of this game as well. Like, there was a key somewhere, and I missed it. Right there. There you go. It does have a very different feel, this game, to basically all the others in the series. And we get ourselves a not wisdom gem, which we're going to need to power up this this gate that we reconstructed with the gong over here. And what was the thing for that? So that one, the diamond there, and the swell there. And that. As especially as we're going to see once we cross over. You just listen to that ambience. Hello, my name is Elizabeth. Welcome to my Temple of Solitude. There's a great chance that you wandered here after being tested by Murtaugh. If that's the case, I'm very sorry that I couldn't get to you before him. It must have been tough on you to get through all his traps, tests, and tasks to fulfill. However, worry no more. If you can't find me in the garden, then I'm out at my laboratory, and I'll be joining you shortly. Please wait patiently here and try not to touch anything. Thank you, L. Yeah. Just from the moment that we step into all this, we see all, like, the luminescent plant life. We hear this particular ambience here. We, the king, welcome you in our south garden. Those who seek peace and calmness will find it under the leaves of our blessed flora. And there's nothing else in the Submachine series that's quite like it. How could they have possibly known? How could they mimic the structure of the subnet so accurately within simple garden plans? It's simply baffling. L. And here we have, so I don't know, I can't tell you off the top of my head if it's exactly the same as the map that was here in the beginning, but, or if it's just like, if this is just a rendition of that, or if it's original and everything, but the original garden layout here was basically the layout of a garden in Versailles in France. You are here. What the f... How does it know? It's scaring me. You are here. Wow! How do you get that good? Alright, we can pick up this key here. And this monolith. Because when you think about it, a lot of the... like, just to talk about the ambient tracks for a moment. A lot of the ambience that we've heard in this series have all been somewhere on a scale of mysterious and intriguing to like kind of dark, kind of imposing, intense. This one is just straight up just ethereal and calming. We, the king, welcome you in our winter palace. May it be home for those who seek knowledge and repel solitude. And a bit of a redesign on the door here. It's a little less confusing to actually navigate around this time. I know it's kind of ironic to dock my laboratory out here in the ruins of the Winter Palace. The king always wanted this palace to become a safe haven for people of science. Here I am, my king. L. Dock 3. Alright, where is it? Yeah, but as we know from the first time, this place used to see much better days, but stuff happened. Well, Murtaugh happened exactly, but, you know. Welcome to the world's famous Winter Palace of the 4th Dynasty. Built in 1832 by Sir Henry O'Toole, a young architect barely known at the time, merely a servant of the King's Master Urbanus. After finishing this palace, O'Toole gained great respect in modern art circles of the Western Kingdom. This Winter Palace and surrounding gardens are prime examples of anti-structural architecture free from the boundaries of material durability. Make sure you also visit the famous Kent Lighthouse built by the same architect. Thank you for coming, hope to see you again. Makes you wonder if the lighthouse itself has this same kind of anti-structural architecture. Well, for that we need to check if it exists the way it does in all 7 layers, but, you know, that's another story for another day. Karma Portal! Now you know how Murtaugh's Karma Portals work. You just use one. They can in fact transport you through different dimensions. However, the ones drawn within the core are short range. Those were the first ones he's ever drawn. A test. Baby steps, if you will. Now that you use one, please do not use them anymore. They shatter the fabric of this dimension. Murtaugh neglected that fact, and just look around where we ended. Yep, it's quite the derelict state. The old Winter Palace and South Garden here. All because Mur just had to be the type that didn't really care about the consequences. He just had to keep testing and testing and testing and... yeah, anyway, another microstabilizer there. Once there was a man who said he knew what was happening after Murtaugh left. Since then, that man left us as well. Oh, did he get lost in the subnet, or did Murtaugh eventually pull him out? That is the question. Right? But, sorry Liz, I know you said not to, but we kind of need these things to get around. Like to pick up this square stone key. We have our control room here. Same map. Why does a sociopath only talk to Elizabeth? Well, I mean, she's the solver, so she's probably one of the only ones you'd want to talk to in a lot of cases involving all this stuff. Yeah, but here, so here's where we had to enter our stone keys. I'll come back to that once we actually have everything we need, but now that we've flipped all those switches in the control room, we can access the rest of the gardens. Now, we are here. Seriously, how do you get that good? Big old tree, another stone key. Wasn't intending for that to rhyme, but you know, it's just, sometimes it's just what happens. So when things started to collapse, why did certain bits and pieces get left behind? They just stayed in place. And why those in particular? Well, I don't know, they might have had just a little bit more karmic water poured into them or something like that. I don't know. This looks dangerous to walk on. Yet it's exactly what we are walking on. I shouldn't trust this. And yet I do. I don't know if that's a me problem or just suspension of disbelief just because it all looks really, really cool. Alright, now we have that one. Get ourselves up these stairs here. Flick this switch now. And a ladder. And now we can start looking for these things. Which, they'll become relevant pretty shortly. You know, there's another one of them. Just look at all these. But oh, you know what's coming next. That's right, another microstabilizer hidden in this little crack. But, you know what's coming next. I made the joke about it in my Scorpion Flower Challenge. But this really is my happy place. I never did end up getting that picture either. So, Skutnik, if by some chance you're watching this, please. Anyway. We're going to use the gong as a lever. Another one of them, and it's just going to bring us all the way back to here, because that's what's out this gateway here. But now we don't know where we are. The map's broken. It's not there to tell us you are here, and that's my phone going off because I forgot to start the bloody thing. So, it used to be there was another image here that would show us which grid each of the stone keys went into. But now, as you can see, they're actually inscribed into the wall here. This triangle is going in the upper right, middle left, and lower left. So there, and there. This is random as well, because the last time I tried to record this, it was very different, and a lot simpler too. Anyway, here in the back of the Winter Palace, just look at that. How cool does that look? I'll take a picture of this too, please. And here. Alright, so that's apparently what the viewer layer 1 looks like out there. In here, we have Monolith Catalyst. Well, it certainly sounds a whole lot cooler than just glowing box, so gladly take that. Anyway, here's gonna be our main goal to try and get up to Liz's lab. If the sun is the universe, then the loops are black holes. Yep. Only unlike black holes, loops there's the potential of escaping from. It's just apparently not very likely. God, look at that. Just look at it. I want a picture of this too. Layers 1, 3, and 4. Got a lot going on in there. The 4th dynasty, at the peak of its cultural and technological development, was able to create the first man-made submachine structure, that being the Root. That was around the beginning of the 20th century and is now considered the birth date of the Outer Ring. Those first structures were merely flawed copies of the original structures, but in time they grew into something completely autonomous. Attempts to chart new territories failed miserably, leaving the vast submachine wilderness to its own. Yeah. There's a lot more to unpack in here than it seems. For starters, it says that the construction of the Root is apparently the birth date of the Outer Ring. Now, I had said in the original run that's something about the Root being built, because it's being built within the core. And a lot of the subnet had already existed before we built our first submachine, the Root. Once the great scheme of things was clearly visible through the layers of 7 main dimensions. Now, due to corrosion, collapse, and spontaneous growth of the Outer Ring, the plane is almost unrecognizable. We humans deserted the Outer Ring, and the Outer Ring responded with deserting us. Nothing but decay ensues. The plan is lost. But it was my theory that, you know, as they stated, the construction of the route was considered the birth date of the Outer Ring. The Outer Ring did not exist before the spontaneous growth of submachines from within the core. Where is that one? Nowadays, I'm not actually sure if because I don't think the route being built was necessarily a cause. Or maybe. Oh wait, so these first structures were merely flawed copies of the original structures, but in time they grew into something completely autonomous. Right. So we copied the original submachines, making our own, but the subnet ended up copying them as well as copying things over on itself, and just kept on copying and copying and copying, which is what caused everything to expand out to the Outer Rim. Yeah, just constant, you know, creation and replication of more submachines, flawed and otherwise. But then there's this. Corrosion, collapse, and spontaneous growth. The outer... Corrosion and collapse can basically be boiled down to the same thing. The event of the collapse, which, you know, was just, the... What's the best way to put this? The, distortion and destruction of, a lot of space and matter in a lot of places. Which, I think you can guess who the prime perpetrator is for that. Alright, there's our fourth microstabilizer. And here we have all those old architectural drawings. I believe from Skutnik's time studying architecture. Anyway, come through here, solenoid. And another one of these on the other side of the tree. But yeah. Whatever the plan was, it was lost because A, things kept growing beyond the point that people could keep up, and B, everything that we already had was being just warped and destroyed as we speak. So, yeah, not good. So much for the plan. Anyway, here's our ticket to solving that puzzle. While I'm here, I will quickly use this new key we got to grab another solenoid. So now I can head up here and finish off this antenna. That's the good sound. Alright, so everything's all powered up. Oh, yep. Solenoid X, Y, and Z in the transmitter. Sweet. Now I just need to find all the right symbols. Yeah, the symbol behind the tree was a pretty simple one. So I'm gonna go looking for that one first. Was it this one? No, it was not. But while I'm here. So here on the map is point number 5. So we can throw the monolith catalyst into the monolith, and we get this symbol, which is, you know, most of a circle, which is number 5. As for the tree, that is point number 4. And that was that really simple one. Alright, I'm just going to throw those 2 in while I can still remember what the hell I'm doing. There's 5. That's 4. Alright, onward. So this area here is number 3. With this one, another simple one. So that was 3. And this is 1, which is that mess. So 3 was that one. Alright, 3 was that completely circular one. 1 was that gobbledygook, which means this place must be 2, which is basically just 2 quarter circles. Alright, Matt. Come on, Matt. You can do this. Yeah! He did it! So now with that, we can now head on up to the laboratory. Let's flick that there so we can get ourselves a little path over to the ladder. Use this light bulb that we stole earlier. Which gets us absolutely nowhere. It's no wonder they wanted to bury this whole lighthouse with him still inside. The collapsed death toll was growing exponentially. Yeah, so we've already seen what we've already seen throughout the Winter Palace and South Garden. That's a more limited version of what the collapse really was as a result of Mer's Karma Portal experiments. Imagine what kind of devastation there would be and how many lives would be lost if he, say, created a giant one powered by an entire lighthouse. Yeah, and he had been doing stuff using only one of the energy shards before that. So I think the people in the core, they didn't take kindly to that. Dear Murtaugh, I understand you desire to build another Karma Portal within the lighthouse. I urge you not to do this. Once you leave the core, no one knows where you'll end up. The outer ring is endless. No one knows what types of mutations of submachines grew out there. I will take care of Einstein, but remember this. Once you step through that portal, you can never go back. The core will be forever lost to you. L. Hence why he needed to take down the Edge's defenses in order to invade it, basically. But him just being lost out in the outer rim isn't the biggest problem here. Again, imagine all the destruction that could have been brought from Murtaugh's portal in the lighthouse. Yeah, but also keep in mind, mutations of submachines grew out there, meaning, yeah, submachines are created on their own as part of the subnet. The subnet is a beast all of its own, pretty much. So unlock that for us. And we have our final microstabilizer right behind Liz's desk. I finally understood how they could mimic the structure of the subnet within a garden. They didn't have to mimic, they were already living inside the subnet. Well, we are in the core, so yeah. I can hear Murtaugh breaching the defenses of my ship. It's high time for me to leave this dimension. I'm sorry I couldn't wait for you any longer, but I fear that with one more Karma Portal placed, this dimension will collapse entirely. I know what he wants to do. I know why he came back to the core. He's after those who buried him alive in that lighthouse. I have to warn them. I have to get to the 5th layer. I wish you could follow me, but I have only one rescue pod left. I'm sorry, Elizabeth. Yeah, burying someone inside a lighthouse like that, it can elicit that reaction. Although, granted, as we know, Murtaugh kind of had it coming. He was playing with forces out of his control. Also, whoops. He just went ahead and made one anyway. But we can open up this emergency exit here. And while I'm not really going to do anything with it yet, I can show that this is the same as well. By putting in that light bulb and flicking a switch up there, this extends. Only this time, instead of a Karma Portal just being here, we need to fill it with our microstabilizers, which again is post-game content and shall be relegated to the post-game. That being said, off we go. And we've made it here to Chapter 8, which, again, the result of me re-recording stuff, we don't have... Hold on. There it is! Chapter 8, the plan. But, you know, we're at the point in this series where the story is getting pretty damn juicy, and this chapter here is definitely going to fuel that even further. So, we shall indulge ourselves in that next time when we take on Chapter 8. But in any case, thank you all so much for watching. Until next time, my name is Matt Omega, and I'll see you guys later.